Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for the first track guide on the PD Resh YouTube channel. So, this is at Gateway Motorsports Park, also known as Wide Technology Raceway, which, let's be honest, rolls off the tongue way better. Um, anyway, this is a sleek C-Class trucks at Gateway. So, what I'm going to show is my out lap and then my fastest qualifying lap in full, and then we'll talk about it after it plays. I'm also going to leave the screen up so you guys can see the telemetry down in the bottom corner about the steering wheel input and how the pedals and all are doing. Okay, so that was the fastest qualifying lap that I put down in this session. Eventually, later on this week, I did figure out how to get down into the like 34 O's, but I wasn't able to replicate that after that one time. But anyway, so here's pretty much what we're doing. So you come out of the pits, bang through the gears as quick as you can down here. And as you come into the corner right here, the idea is that you want to run wide so that you can give yourself a good cut down. If you look at the top corner over here of the little track map, and we'll probably get better track maps as we go forward. But anyway, this is such a long corner that initially you can gain a lot of speed for this long front stretch right here if you turn in really, really late and get the power down as hard as you can. If you stay on the inside, you can't put the power down as quick. So your goal is to make this front stretch as long as possible, so to speak. So that's why you run up top like this, and then you turn it back in and you just get back into the gas, catch fourth gear on the way out, and then you're just rolling in. Now right here, so you can see I'm turning in right about the time I let off the gas. So we'll park it real slow here. So turn in, I'm trying to get the truck light because you can see I turn and then I kind of back out of the steering a little bit and the rear of the truck's kind of floaty, and that's what you're looking for. I went down a little bit too low right here. You kind of want to be maybe right on this seam more than you want to be below it. But kind of get the truck light in the back so it helps turn in. It'll almost sling around that corner. And then you can get back to pretty good power on the way out because you've got extra banking. Um, that's another thing about this track. It has what's called progressive banking heading into this corner. So the bottom part of the turn, so like this section has less banking than up here. So if you want to carry more speed around the actual corner itself, you're going to want to be your left tires roughly on that seam, maybe just a hair below it. Um, but I have found if I keep like half of the truck below this, it gets too loose when I get back to the power, so the rear really wants to step out. So it's good to not be too far below this when you go back to the gas. So you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the truck angle up a little bit. And you want to really power out of this corner because you got a long straightaway ahead of you. So we'll back it up, we'll play that back in full speed. So you can see off the gas, turn in. let it roll, downshifts into third, and hammer the power back out. Now this corner for your fast lap, turn in again, the back of the truck wants to get light, and you want to keep it kind of as close as you can to the white line. And fire your way out here. So just to show you how close that I was to this white line, left front suspension. Here we go. So you want to get close. See, the entry can be a little bit higher because you still want to turn down a little bit later, especially on a real fast lap like this, but you got to get right down on it. You don't want to clobber that curb because it'll kind of push you wide and unsettle the vehicle, whether it be a car, truck, whatever. But that's kind of where you want to be, right as low as you can get on that line right there. And then you can really power out. Once again, this track is really focused on trying to power out of the corners as hard as you can, because in turn 1 and 2 down here, you have so much banking to work with. So you can really put the power down. And then in turns 3 and 4, they're so wide, so long, then your goal really is to either cut down low and try to keep the truck low, but I like to enter a little bit lower like we did. Let me back up here. So I like to come in and enter kind of aggressively. You can see in the steering I had to back out a little bit. And then it's okay if the truck runs a little bit wide because you're going to downshift and that kind of helps kick the truck around right there. Just listen for that. Let me explain that real quick. So going into that corner, typically on ovals, you don't really downshift into the turns, but some of these setups you have to be quick. If you don't downshift in these trucks at Gateway, then I found that the truck does not want to turn into the corner as you reach the middle of the turn. It kind of wants to shoot wide, and then when you get back to the power, it's not really aggressive enough to want to kick the back of the truck out. It just kind of wants to accelerate, which is sounds good, but you're not getting any slip angle in the back of the truck. And so it doesn't make that corner quite as well as it could if you downshifted in the third. So we'll listen for the downshift here heading in. There it was. And you can kind of look a little bit. See, we're turning with the throttle at that point. So let's go back in here. So you can see back in the gas, back in the gas. Now the wheel's almost straight and we're still cornering. That's what you want to do coming out of these turns. So that's for a good hot lap. As far as the race, it doesn't really seem like saving tires made that much of a difference in the shorter, like 40 lap races. Um, in none of the races that I did at this track with this truck did I really save much on either like turns 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. I pretty much drove it as hard as I could the entire time, and that left me with a lot of top 5 finishes, fighting for some wins, and maybe some of my own mistakes getting into the corner, like pushing wide in turn 3 and 4 is what kind of, did it in. Um, so yeah, just to close that up, I didn't really find I needed to save. Um, you probably can, but most of the time, so if I looked at the tire wear after like a long run or something like that, the right front would be a little bit more worn, which makes sense because you're turning left. And the right rear wouldn't be as worn as I thought it would be, but it would be hot, so it's a little bit uh, more slippery, which kind of made it easier to get out of the corner. So my driving style for this track was to be as aggressive with the power as I could be, and that didn't really cause me any problems. So sorry if you hear a phone ring in the background every now and again. Uh, so yeah, that's how I get around Gateway. I hope that helps. I'm sure some of you are going to watch this video and then blow my lap time out of the water, which would be great. If you do, let me know. I'd like to know that some of the tips are helping out people. So thanks for tuning in. Hope it helps. If you have any questions, ask away in the comments. See you in the next one.